Hey, I got this Transformers Bumblebee figure. I guess they reissued the original Bumblebee, but they changed his head. The head on the original toy from the 80s looked like this head. So it looks like they've made a new head to match how he looked on the cartoon. The thing about Transformers is the toys never looked like the cartoon. Bumblebee's not that bad, but a lot of them really didn't look anything like they looked in robot form on the cartoon. And I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off, but the truth about Transformers is it was really a pretty shitty toy line. You had these like kind of cheap Transformers that you could get, like Bumblebee, which I mean these are basically the same as GoBots. They're just the kind of cheap ones. I know Bumblebee was a popular character, but if you got like any of the like big Transformers like Optimus Prime or something and they had like the die-cast metal parts, the thing about it is a lot of them, to transform them, it was hard and complicated, especially for a kid. I mean, some of them like Grimlock were really hard to transform. And they had a lot of real tiny parts. Like Optimus Prime, if you had the original Optimus Prime, when he transformed into the truck, his hands didn't disappear. So his hands were molded into fists, and you had to actually take them off and remove them. And they were really tiny, and you were inevitably going to lose them. And it was just too hard to have. You can't have a toy that's like an action figure and a vehicle and have it really be good at both. When you transformed most of the Transformers, they didn't look good in their robot form, a lot of them, or they had really limited playability in their robot form. And like the good ones, the big ones like Optimus Prime, they were expensive too back in the 80s. So you weren't going to get those unless it was like Christmas or your birthday or something. You could get like a little Bumblebee like this one. Whereas like G.I. Joe, for example, the figures were all, small, and you could get your mom to buy you a G.I. Joe like on a trip to the grocery store or something. And the G.I. Joe toys, I like that classic Hasbro. The G.I. Joe vehicles, if you got the vehicles, you got to like put them together and apply the decals and stuff, and they were almost like model kits. And then they had fun playability, like you could put your figures in them and play with them. And like if you lost Optimus Prime's hands, you were fucked. But if you lost like one of your G.I. Joe's guns, you could just buy another Joe, and like you could pick out one with the best accessories. Like a lot of kids just picked out the figure that came with the coolest gear, and you got more guns. Like they were interchangeable parts. Transformers, like you needed their parts. So anyway, I'm gonna open this. No, I had one of these when I was a kid, and the thing that I remember the most about it, or one thing I remember, was just the smell of the rubber from his tires. So I'm wondering if this reissue is gonna have the same smell. So let's see. I gotta open it with one hand. Okay, here it goes. So here's Bumblebee. Make him in robot form. His arms move. So the only real articulation you got with his arms is that they move. So you bring his feet. His legs don't move. So he just kind of stands like that. And that's Bumblebee. So that's your only, the only articulation he has in robot form is his arms move up and down. So if you want to change him to the car, head down, push the feet in, and move the arms in. And there he's the car. Focus. And does he have the same rubber smell? I don't smell it the way I smelled in the 80s. Doesn't seem to have the same smell. Kind of like if anyone remembers the original Kenner Darth Vader, you smelt that vinyl cape in the figure. But anyway, it's Bumblebee. So yeah, Transformers. I mean, I guess they have some more collector's edition kind of style Transformers now that are pretty cool, but those are like for adult collectors. The original 80s toy line, they were shitty toys.